Boys, welcome back to another Bookhouse YouTube video. Today we got our starts and sits for week 9 of fantasy football. And boys, before we get into it, we created an absolutely free group chat on Chalkboard where we give out our full week 9 rankings, got trade targets, waiver wire targets, so much stuff to help you win your matchup. Check it out. It's the first link in the description and it's completely free. Our first start of the week is Justin Fields. Justin Fields, out of nowhere, has been balling for fantasy football. Since week 4, he is the QB2. He has 2 straight games of over 23 fantasy points, and he has a great matchup against the Miami Dolphins at home. Dolphins are number 26 against quarterbacks. Again, great matchup. Also, I would stash Justin Fields. Next 2 matchups after this against 31 and 29. 3 great matchups in a row. Absolutely love Justin Fields this week. And our second must-start player of the week is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, surprisingly, has looked very, very good with Taylor Heinicke. With Carson Wentz, he was decent. Taylor Heinicke comes in 2 straight games above 16 points, averaging 17.45 points over the last 2 games. He's going against the Vikings. The Vikings are currently number 26 against wide receivers. He's getting targets, I think 8 targets in each of the last 2 games. We love Terry in week 9. And our defensive start of the week is the Patriots defense against the Colts. Not much really need to say here. It's the number 2 defense in fantasy against the second worst offense. Patriots also at home. This is set up to be super ugly for the Colts. Again, if you have the Patriots defense, you have to start them. And our fourth start of the week is Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett has an amazing matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are terrible against any pass catchers. They are currently averaging 307 yards per game by the opposing QB passing. By far the worst. The second worst is like 277. Again, Chargers are very injured. Got no Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. Herbert needs some wide receivers. He's obviously going to throw to Eckler. We might see some more wide receivers later in the video. But Gerald Everett, a great tight end, averaging more than 6 targets per game. Getting some red zone targets. We love Gerald Everett in week 9. And our fifth start of the week is Josh Palmer. Going off of what Ethan just said, the Falcons are horrible on defense. They are the worst team against wide receivers. Josh Palmer very easily could find himself as the wide receiver 1 on this team. Mike Williams is not playing. Keenan Allen is doubtful at the point of the recording this video. Again, being the wide receiver 1 against the Falcons, who probably won't have AJ Terrell either. Tons of upside, and obviously Herbert is an elite quarterback. Love the upside for, like you said, Everett and Josh Palmer this week. And our last start for week 9 is Devin Duvernay. Devin Duvernay last week was pretty solid. He did have over 16 points, was kind of safe by a touchdown at the end of the game, but Bateman's out for the year. Mark Andrews is questionable. If Mark Andrews, even if he does play, he might be a bit limited. They need more wide receivers here. The Saints are currently number 24 against wide receivers. It should be a close game. It should be still passing. The Ravens shouldn't be running all over them. The Saints defense is pretty good against the run. Devin Duvernay should find himself as the clear wide receiver 1, and he has a good matchup in week 9. Our first sit of the week is TJ Hawkinson. After being traded to the Vikings, we like his potential upside in the future, just not this week. He still needs to learn the offense, get acclimated to the Vikings system. And again, it's going to take more than a week. Plus, he's versing the Washington football team. I guess Washington Commanders now, who are number 1 against tight ends. So it's a super, super tough matchup against the best team against tight ends. Plus, still needs to learn this offense, like Hawkinson in the future, just not this week. Our second sit of the week is Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson is just terrible matchup this week going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are always notoriously known for being great against RBs. They're currently number 6, but they've had some games where other RBs blew up against them, and we don't see Henderson doing anything like that last week. There was no Cam Akers, and Henderson only played 41% of snaps. You had Malcolm Brown taking carries, that Rivers guy taking carries. Now in this game, Akers is back, Rivers is back to the practice squad, so he won't be playing, but it could be a 3 RB committee. This is a pretty low over-under, may not be a lot of points scored. We just do not love Henderson. Our third sit of the week, once again, is David Montgomery. Had him the last 2 weeks, have him again this week. It is a better matchup than before versus Miami, who are 19th against running backs, but again, just don't love Monty at this point in the season for fantasy. Last week, he had less carries than Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert had 1 more carry than him. Yes, Monty is playing a decent amount of snap percentage. I believe it was 70% last week, but he's just not getting the uses that you want to see for fantasy. Don't love the upside. If possible, we would sit Montgomery this week. And our fourth sit of the week, it's not really a sit, but if you could sit and we'd maybe consider it, it's Joe Burrow. This Bengals offense last week, without Jamar Chase, looked horrible. They got the garbage time touchdown to T. Higgins, which kind of saves Burrow's fantasy day, but he still only had 13 points. Our bold prediction is that he finishes outside the top 10 QBs this week. They go against Carolina. They're decent against QBs, number 13, but they're number 20 against RBs. This could be more of a Joe Mixon game, Again, the Bengals without Jamar Chase just aren't a great offense, and we consider sitting Joe Burrow. And our last sit of the week is Michael Carter. Michael Carter was actually decent last week. He had 7 targets, which you love to see, but only 7 rushing attempts. That is not great numbers. Plus, we expect James Robinson to get more and more usage the more he gets used to this new Jets offense. Obviously, you have to be traded for the Jaguars. But again, the matchup is super tough against Buffalo, who are number 7 against running backs. So we just don't love the upside for Michael Carter this week. And guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Again, hit the like and the subscribe. And check out Chalkboard, the big free group chat with all of our rankings on there. Again, thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.